Hey everyone, it's at Adam Conta, and that's at Matthew Sukram. Matt, so many people are talking about the Mae Young Classic right now, and it's not hard to see why. One of the best events of 2017, hands down, one of the best things you're going to watch all year if you're a professional wrestling fan, especially if you're a fan of women's wrestling. Now, Matt, one of the surprises to come out of the tournament this year was Shayna Baszler, who has been incredibly impressive as of late. She, of course, is famously attached to the Four Horsewomen. Not the Four Horsewomen that us wrestling fans are most commonly associated with, but Ronda Rousey and her crew, which includes Baszler. Now, there was a pretty interesting confrontation that happened at the Classic regarding those particular Four Horsewomen. Matt, catch us up to speed on what exactly happened.
Backstage interview by Ronda Rousey's crew, just talking about how proud they are of Baszler, and all of a sudden, 3 of the 4 WWE Horsewomen show up. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Bayley. And there was a stare down. Ronda Rousey says, name a time and a place. And then if you rewind a little bit and go back to Baszler's match, she turns to look at the crowd, and who's there front row calling her out? Those 3 women again. So, and Sasha Banks was chiming in on Twitter saying, well, I'd love to be a part of that as well. So, very, very interesting. Just to see that stare down. There was some energy there in that crowd. Like, they didn't even have to say anything. It was just that look. It was like when Triple H showed up to stare down The Undertaker when they both returned from injury on that Monday Night Raw before their encounter at WrestleMania that year. Nothing had to be said. It was just a stare down, and that felt like that at the Mae Young Classic.
And speaking, since we were talking about dream matches this week, obviously we wanted to keep the conversation going with our video content. So that's what we're talking about today. We're going to put on the Booker cap for just a second, and we're going to talk about if Ronda Rousey were to step into a WWE ring. Her MMA career is up in the air. We don't know if she'll ever return. WWE has been rumored, and she has been involved with the WWE over the last few years, here and there. If she was to step between the ropes, who should she face? Now, obviously, I think the Horsewomen feud is going to be the one that everyone wants to see.
Right, a 4-on-4 match for
but
sure.
But of the 4 Horsewomen, Rousey's the one with the most name recognition. Her first match is going to be the one that a lot of people are talking about. So, Matt, you've got the booking sheet right now. Ronda Rousey, who do you put her against?
You know what? I know she doesn't have one of the women's championships right now, but I think Charlotte Flair is the one to go up against. I know you could make a case for Naomi. You can make a case for Alexa Bliss, but I think the dream match is Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey. And we talked about this on a podcast a while ago, before this year's WrestleMania, when Charlotte Flair was the champion. And we said, if Charlotte Flair holds on to the title until WrestleMania time, do they bring in Ronda Rousey? And we talked about it on the podcast, and I said, yes, and just give her as much money as she wants. You said, don't do that. Gauge the interest first. But honestly, I'm still in that mindset. I still think the money match is Rousey against Charlotte Flair.
You know, I think that that's a pretty obvious choice to go with, and it's certainly not a wrong choice. I'm going to go a little less obvious. I'm actually surprised you didn't go with Natalya, seeing as they're both submission specialists.
I know. I thought of that because she is holding the title right now, and she's the most senior women's wrestler on the card right now, and could probably teach Ronda Rousey how it works in the WWE. I can see it for sure.
But I can't fault you that much because I'm not choosing Natalya.
Oh, well, there you go.
My pick against Ronda Rousey is Asuka. Asuka has been so incredibly dominant. She has taken her opponents and chewed them up and spit them out, not unlike a certain MMA female star that we've seen explode in the last few years. To me, this one's the logical choice, especially if Asuka can keep her undefeated streak going, run through the entire roster, and there's no one left to challenge. Out comes Ronda Rousey. So, hey, who knows? Maybe on a future episode of the Wrasslun show or a future project, I'll be able to actually map out how I would book that. But for now, we'll just let it play in your imagination. Thank you very much for joining us for your video content this week. Next week, we already know what the video content's going to be. we're predicting no mercy. We're going to pick the winners and the losers, and you'll be all there for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us once again. Follow us at Adam Conta, at Matthew Sukram, and at The Wrasslun Show. Let us know who you would book Ronda Rousey against. And in the meantime and in between time, you know what to do. Watch, share, subscribe, repeat.